All right, everyone, settle in. Today we are tackling a topic that is, and I'm not exaggerating here, one of the most critical challenges in modern business. We're going to talk about how to manage and, most importantly, prove the value of marketing.
You know, for decades, this was just the accepted truth. Marketing was this beautiful, almost mystical blend of creativity, that's the art, and a little bit of science. It was really all about big ideas, gut feelings, which was great for creating memorable ads, but it made it incredibly hard to measure.
And that right there is the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's what keeps chief marketing officers awake at night. How do you go into a boardroom, not just with a story about a cool campaign, but with real hard data that proves its impact on the bottom line? Well, that's exactly what we're going to figure out today.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll dig into the why, the big ROI problem. Then, we'll look at the what, the tools and metrics you'll be using, and we'll wrap it all up with the how, a practical framework you can actually implement.
Okay, so let's get right into it. To really understand why analytics is such a big deal now, you have to understand the history of the problem marketing has always faced.
I mean, just think about it. Finance has always had its spreadsheets. Operations has its efficiency scores. But marketing? It was often seen as a cost center, not an investment. You poured money in, and you hoped something good came out the other side. But drawing a straight line from your ad budget to profit, that was tough.
And look, these aren't just old problems. They're happening right now. A report from GK found that a lot of marketers are basically flying blind. You've got tons of data, but it's stuck in different silos, right? Your sales data is over here, your web analytics are over there, and your social media data is in a totally different system. You can't get a single, clear picture. And even if you could, you might not have the right tools or, and this is a big one, the right people on your team with the skills to make sense of it all.
So, how do we fix this? The answer is analytics. But here's the key thing to get. Not all analytics are the same. A really useful way to think about it is like a ladder. The higher you climb, the more powerful your insights become.
So, at its most basic level, this is what we're talking about. Marketing analytics isn't just about collecting numbers. It's a formal process. It's about taking all that raw data and turning it into something genuinely useful. Real, actionable intelligence that helps you do your job better.
Okay, I really want you to focus on the journey this slide shows. You start at the bottom with descriptive analytics. This is pure hindsight. It just tells you what happened. Then you take a step up to diagnostic analytics, which starts to explain why it happened. But the real game changer happens next. You move into predictive analytics, asking what will happen. And then you reach the very top, the absolute holy grail, prescriptive analytics. This doesn't just predict the future, it tells you how can we make the thing we want to happen.
Okay, so we have this powerful analytics framework. Now we need to talk about the actual numbers we're plugging into it, metrics. And I want to be crystal clear about this. You have to get past what we call vanity metrics. You know, things like how many likes a post got. We need to focus on the stuff that actually moves the needle.
And it's so important to use your metrics in two ways. You absolutely need the diagnostic use. It's like looking in the rearview mirror. It tells you how you're doing, how you stack up against the competition, but you also need the interactive use. That's like looking through the windshield. It helps you see what's coming and steer the ship in the right direction.
So here's a really critical distinction. You have to balance two types of metrics. On one side, you have lag indicators, like last quarter's sales figures. They're telling you the final score of a game that is already over. Important, for sure, but it's history. On the other side, you have health metrics. Think of these like checking the fitness level of your team mid-season. They tell you how ready you are to win the next game.
Now this is a slide I want you to burn into your memory. This roadmap is your ticket to being taken seriously in the boardroom. It literally shows you how to draw a direct line from a tiny day-to-day metric, like the click-through rate on a single ad, all the way up to its impact on the brand. Then how that affects marketing outcomes like sales. And finally, how it connects to the big picture stuff the CEO actually cares about, like revenue growth and investor value.
All right, so we've got the right kind of analytics, we've got the right kind of metrics. How do we actually make this happen in a real company? Well, we build a system around it, and that system is called a Marketing Performance Management Framework, or MPM for short.
This map right here is your blueprint. It's based on the famous balanced scorecard, and it forces you to think about how everything connects. See how it starts at the bottom with your internal processes? If those are solid, you can deliver a great customer value proposition. When you do that, you build brand equity. And what does strong brand equity lead to? The financial results at the very top.
See, each level builds on the one before it.
Okay, enough theory. This stuff is great, but let's see how it actually works in the real world. We're going to look at Carrefour, a massive European retailer, and how they solved a huge data problem.
So, Carrefour had a problem that a lot of big companies have. They were sitting on a goldmine of customer data. They knew what you bought online, what you scanned with their app in the store, what you bought at the register, but it was all disconnected. They couldn't see the full picture of a single customer, which meant their marketing was inefficient and they were just wasting money on ads.
So what did they do? They used this really cool technology called a data clean room. The best way to think of it is like a secure digital vault. Carrefour can put their data in, and one of their partners, say a big soda company, can put their data in. They can analyze the combined data for insights, but here's the magic part. Neither company can see the other's raw customer data. It's all about collaboration while protecting privacy.
And the results? I mean, just look at these numbers. They were staggering. A 20% increase in return on their ad spend, a 15% jump in keeping their customers. They cut the cost of acquiring a new customer by 25%, and they discovered this amazing insight that 40% of their online shoppers would then go into a physical store to buy something. This is what happens when you finally connect the dots. You stop guessing and you start knowing.
So, the big question is, how can you build a system like this when you get out there in the working world? Well, it's not magic. It's a clear, 6-step process for implementing marketing performance management.
Now, the most important thing to see on this slide is that it's a circle. It's not a straight line. This isn't a one-and-done project. It's a continuous loop, a cycle of constant improvement. It's really about building a culture where data drives decisions.
And the process is logical. You start with define, which is just getting everyone to agree on what you're even measuring. Then you document or capture the data. Next, you discover the patterns hiding in that data, and you determine what those patterns actually mean for the business. From those insights, you design a new marketing plan, and then you deploy it. And as soon as you do, the cycle starts right back over again, and you get a little bit smarter every single time.
And that's really the thought I want to leave you all with today. The technology's here. The data is everywhere. For your generation of marketers, the question is no longer, can we measure this? The real question is going to be, do we have the courage to act on what the data tells us? Do you have the guts to kill a campaign you love because the numbers say it's failing? Or to pivot your entire strategy because the data points to a new opportunity? That, right there, that's the future of this field.